It's TMNT time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates Wave 1 Baxter Stockman figure. The second one I'm gonna review of the line. I mean, I got all four of them. If you're wondering, I wanna have a look at Fly Baxter this time around because that's another character, that's another figure from the toy line we never really got as like a collectible. You got the Baxter Stockman symbol with the mouses on the side and the TMNT. Also says Ultimates on the top, but here we got the actual packaging. I like this slider though, it's like really high quality stuff. Good look of it, and yeah, here you got the box. As I mentioned before with Raph, it's a very nice done box. You got bio on the back, pause if you like to read that, and a bunch of detail on it. Notice that all the boxes from the Foot Clan come in purple, while all the boxes from the TMNT and their, alloys come in green. Now, enough about the box stuff, let's have a look at Baxter. This guy has some size, and that's the first thing I want to focus on because that's what a lot of people are saying, that he's way too big. Now, here's Raph from the same line, same wave. As you can tell, he towers over Raph, but also, very important, all the legs, both legs, are stretched out for both of these guys. Now, since this line is based on the original toys, that's exactly what I want to focus on. You have Baxter and Raph, which have almost the same size. Well, really, basically, I don't see a difference here. Now, the big thing you gotta keep in mind is, look how far the knees are stretched with Baxter. He's squatting. I don't know what else to say. He's squatting. Raph has the knees bent just a little bit, and trying to get both of them in the same position, you will notice that it does line up as such. I do not believe Baxter is too tall. I really, like I'm saying, I stretched out, kind of bent the legs a little bit for Raph, and that's what we're getting. And as such, I'm okay with it. Just for comparison, here we got the old school toy Baxter with the new Super 7 one. Now I still want to give you the actual size of the figure in centimeters and inches and, well, that's it, centimeters and inches. I got him hunched over still, but I want to have a look at that. He stands at about 14.5 centimeters to the top of his head, which means we're going up to, how many inches? A little shy of 6 inches, 5.7 it seems like. Now, if you're really stretching out the legs, he's obviously gonna gain a lot of size. Also, trick, if you failing at bending the knees, it's really, you have to, this knee joint with the pants is molded in a way so it bends better in a certain direction, but it looks good in all of them, so really you can play around with it. Turn this around if you really want to get them hunched over all the way. 17 centimeters, a little over that when he's standing up, and we're going up to 6.8 inches. At that point, overall look in detail of the figure. As I mentioned before that, the Super 7 line, it looks amazing. It really captures the look of the old school toy, of the figure, of the character. And as such, you have a ton of detail. You have the weird fly eyes, which are a bit more shiny. The rest of it has like a more muted tone, which fits. And you have also some, I think some black wash, a little bit of dry brushing in the hair. Makes it stand out even that much more. You got the teeth. Unfortunately, some white spots around it. Can I remove that? Oh, I'll look into that. Got some wrinkles under his chin. And then you got the arms in the back. And oh my god, there's so much going on here. The veins. You got the veins which are painted, which really stand out, like a ton of black wash over here. And just great look. Looks pretty disgusting, but I like it. Got the big arms with the claws on there, the fingernails poking out, and the wings, which look exactly like the toy. They didn't, part of me wishes that they would have, spiced this one up a little bit, but it's really, really accurate to the toy, so yeah, that's one part I just would have liked to see them give an update, which they do with so many things, I don't know. Anyway, you got the detail over here, the fly. Haha, he's a fly and he got a yellow fly. Hilarious. Then you got the lab coat, which is soft plastic, kind of draped over the entire chest part. And you got some more detail over here, which is I guess, yeah, there's a watch that's just peeking out over there. And he has actually a ring on his hand. Is he married? I don't remember that. Well, anyway, nice detail as we move down. Pants look pretty plain, except for the parts where it's ripped up. Get some more detail over there. Very nicely done. And the weird feet, which there's a problem with that, which I'll get to once I get to the articulation. While the fingernails over here is really messy. In a good way. I don't mean it in a bad way. Now for the articulation, we got some problems. Let me start off with the wings. They are on ball hinges as such. You can make them go flappy, go up and down, and rotate them around. Now, the problem with that is they should have really put maybe a swivel over here, or just peg them in and then put a swivel on top of it, because posing options is really bad. It goes to the back, and as much you can just turn them this much forward. That's about it. And they're always going at an angle. You can't turn them forward and make them go down, well, kinda, but it will always fight you. It's not the greatest idea. Which is pretty cool though are the arms. You have a ball hinge over there, so that moves up and down. Rotation all the way around. Same thing on the elbow joint over here. Has some good range, very good range actually, and moves around. Same for this claw hand, back, forward, and rotation on it. Good stuff. For the head, same thing, you got a problem there. It's mostly a swivel. I think it is on a ball, but you don't have any room. It's really just pegged in, I think, very deeply over there. As such, you do have just the tiniest bit of side to side and up and down, which kind of sucks. Then you got the ball hinge. Well, the hinge in the elbow goes all the way up. Rotation, we don't have bicep swivel, but you have the elbow joint. Simple ball joint. Why did I say ball joint? It's just a joint. It goes back, forward, and you can rotate that, so that's kind of like making up for the lack of a bicep swivel, and the hand moves back, forward, and rotates around. We have nothing in the chest area. You could have done an ab crunch, which would have been hidden by the entire coat, but they did not do that as such. Only have a swivel at the hips and the legs. Move out to the side, move forward very nicely. Still in an angle because the crotch piece is hard plastic, so we'll always align to that. And moves to the back, same thing. With the, he has a little stinger peeking out or what? He's a fly, he doesn't have a stinger. Then, as I mentioned before, you have the simple hinge. I want to say ball hinge again, what the frick? Got the simple hinge in the knees, moves back and forward, rotates all the way around. And as I was saying, on this side, it rotates all the way forward like that, but if you have it on that side, it gets blocked by the mold, so you can rotate it in whichever way you want to really get around with them legs, with them knees. Now the big thing, one of the biggest problems I've already heard beforehand, you got the hinge for the foot, moves up and down, but no pivots, because the hole for the feet is just straight. If you would have made it a little bit to the side, it would have been able to pivot it. And I've seen people already take this guy apart, take the foot off, and kind of drill another hole in an angle. And that's really a problem for stability right out of the gate. For the accessories, I got the trigger finger hand. Well, you got more like a trigger finger hand on the figure already. And to round that off, you got open hands, kind of claw hands, booby grab hands. For your posing stuff, doesn't really hold anything. Then you got fist hands. This guy got fist hands. Raph didn't have fist hands. That was kind of like a thing where I a little bit complain about. And then you got the more rounded holding hands, probably for the fly swatter. Which, well, let me get a look at the weapons rack first, which has everything. This is the classic stuff, unpainted for your nostalgia trip. Has all the detail on the side over here and the peg holes. Like I was saying, it's the weapons rack. You can take it apart if you want to. I do not want to because I want to keep it part of my collection. Then you got the fly swatter, which is painted. It has like a turtle on there, which is... I always found that kind of disturbing. Now it's painted, it's even worse. And then you got the little bolts over there, which are also painted. And this entire piece, which Yeah, I don't really know about this red thing. With the original Baxter, you were kind of holding a fly swatter, and his red piece was draping over his arm. With this one, obviously that doesn't work. Don't have enough space over there. The only thing I could figure out is that you can slide it over the gun. So you have this contraption. If you want to play around with that, that's fine. Also, you can take the fly swatter out and just completely forget about that. If that's your hustle, you can do that too. And then you got the gun, which the only problem I have with it, it's nicely molded, it looks cool. I wish it had some paint on it. Just a little bit of silver or even some dry brushing. There's nothing on it, just gray plastic, especially in the front. Oh, is that like a sticker on there? Looks a little bit darker, but I don't know what that is. Then you got the Mauser, which is amazing. I love this one. It's so well done and it's really hefty. It's not cheap. It has some articulation. Swivel in the neck, mouth hinge that moves up, moves open if I can. It's pretty stiff. There you go. Got that. Got the foot logo in the front and the visor, which I do think is a sticker also. Which is fine. I don't hate it. And then the legs move back and forth. They are pretty rubbery. And it's gonna do it for Baxter Stockman. Now, the good part is the sculpt and the paint job is amazing. I haven't even really talked about the small kind of purple dots which you have all throughout the body. You probably notice it, but you got like a dark purple going on all throughout this stuff. So it has an awesome look. And like I mentioned, the only thing I would have liked to get an update as far as paint and mold goes are the wings. Also, I was kind of like, there is some paint on the weapon, like a little bit on the handle over there. Didn't really see that over the camera before, but there's a little bit of light gray. Anyway, so what is the final thoughts? This figure is great. This figure looks great. This figure has a presence, has a good size, has the right size, contrary to what a lot of people are saying that's too big. I'm okay with everything, all the accessories, everything is there as it should. He does have fist hands, open hands, can hold all these accessories, and has some posing hands. Now, the obvious is obvious. The articulation is the only thing I'm gonna give this figure like a negative. Because I cannot line up the wings I want them like I want them to, so that's a problem. The lack of articulation other than a swivel in the head is a little bit annoying, and of course, the ankle pivots, the ankle swivels, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that would have added a lot. To be fair, same with Raph, I was still able to put this guy in a couple of poses, and he does have pretty big feet, and if you really play around with the legs, you will be able to balance him out for a number of poses. So it's not like he's a brick that can't move around, but he would have been better with some pivots, and especially the wings. Those two things, if you fix those two things, then the figure would be absolutely perfect, honestly. I love this one, so I will still recommend them. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Baxter Stockman wants. Just to do this motion.